It's time to wake up, witches. I'm your host, Kat Adams, and I'm here to remind you that no matter where you're at in life, you're not stuck. Good morning. I am back. It is Sunday morning on Father's Day, and I had taken a little bit of a break because I had some content batch recorded, and I knew I was going to be super busy the last 2 weeks. I have not yet gone on vacation, so I'm batch recording again today and preps for that in like 2 weeks. But I did get a little bit of a break from just the content creation so I could focus on my full-time job. And I'm happy to say it paid off because I have gotten my 5th promotion in a year and a half. So your girl has been busy, like really busy. I'm officially the head of my department title, which we're not going to get into because I keep work life separate from this life, and not because I don't know anything weird. It's just I do work in the niche of domestic violence and trafficking and things like that. But also, I just, I'm a private person, probably because my background on how I've, had to deal with an abuser and always worried like someone's watching me, someone's stalking me, things like that. So yeah, I'm a private person. But celebration time, I have celebrated so much, and I've put on weight over the past year. I'm not going to beat myself up over it because I had a lot to celebrate. Still trying to get that off. And that's not like me. That's not like me. If you don't know, I used to be a personal trainer. So very, very nutrition, health minded. And so this is a bit of new territory for me. And I'm just trying to embrace that I'm going to be 40 this year, and I want to be in the best shape ever for my age. Not how I used to be, big bodybuilder type person. I wish I could get back to there, but honestly, I'm okay with being at this point in my life not. Especially because I've got so much great stuff going on. And that's what I want to talk about today. The good stuff. I want to close this. Is my husband, partner, whatever, an asshole? Or is he just abusive? With a couple final thoughts, but also I'm going to focus on what a healthy relationship looks like. I originally wanted my new husband, who I call the D, and not because I'm reducing him to a body part, but because his name actually starts with a D. And it's just, from the rom-com days, I wanted the D to join us, but he is a little bit shy, and I'm not going to pressure him to hop on here just yet. I have to warm him up for that. So, hey, healthy relationship. I know how he's feeling. I checked in with him, and he wants to do it, but he's going to take some warming up, and that's okay because he's amazing. And I know, I can talk amazing things about him and healthy relationships without him. Because guess what? We don't need no man. And I hope he's not offended by that because he's awesome. So let me go ahead and pull something up on my screen here so I can go through the list of healthy relationship stuff and what to look out for. And let me just start by saying, if you're not following me on TikTok, go to TikTok. I'm at author Kat Adams. Remember, Adams with double D's. And go ahead and follow me because I've been receiving really great responses on these clips that I'm making for like, hey, is your boyfriend abusive or an asshole? Here's the emotional abuse. Here's the psychological abuse, things like that. I've been receiving really awesome responses on that, as in like a lot of women are saving those videos. Some are responding. They're getting more hits. So I think finally, I'm getting some traction on something that needs to be talked about. So I'm going to keep doing it, keep creating those video snippets. Also, please, if you have anything you want me to address, I have in the show notes that Google Sheets. You can sign it anonymously. If you want me to talk about a podcast topic, answer a question, anything like that, please feel free to fill that out because I want to address everyone's concerns. It's why I'm doing this. I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it because I know I can help women who have been in situations like I was in. And after listening to this entire series, if you've stuck with me through all that negative shit we talked about, then you know, like, you can get a feel of how horrible it is to be trapped in a miserable, toxic relationship. And holy crap, we're talking sunshine and rainbows today. It is amazing on the other side. It is more than, if you're trapped in one of these relationships, it is more than anything you could ever imagine to actually overcome that and, one, build your self-confidence and independence, and two, find a healthy, supportive partner who actually loves you. Because I'm just going to say it. Your abuser does not love you. He loves to control you. He does not love you because you cannot control and love someone at the same time. So let's get on with this list here that I have. I'm clicking around healthy relationship stuff. All right. So we're going to start with communication. And I'm basically answering the question of, am I in a healthy relationship or not? All right. Communication. So effective and open communication is the foundation of a healthy relationship. It involves active listening, expressing oneself honestly and respectfully, and seeking mutual understanding. I'm going to go ahead and say, sometimes I do not have a healthy behavior on communicating, or at least I did not. So I clam up and I shut down, and it takes me a bit. And I have learned that from my old days, I can't bring my old relationship into my new relationship. And I did that a lot. And if you are going through a toxic relationship and then you start dating again, this needs to be a whole podcast topic on itself. You will do that. You're going to do that because that's what you know. And you have to learn how not to do that. So I had a poor habit of shutting down and not communicating. And I have learned to not do that because that was a me problem. So signs of a healthy relationship is being able to communicate. If your husband said something that really upset you, let him know. Don't just shut down and walk away. If you need time to bring it up, that's okay. That's kind of what I do. I'm like, if something happened that pissed me off with anybody, not just, husband, but daughter, whatever, I recognize that I'm shutting down and I just take a little time for myself. Sometimes that's up to a day. And then I will go back and say, hey, I want to talk to you about something. I just didn't feel right. And usually it's me being a dumbass. I took something the wrong way and overthought something or whatever. So it's usually my fault, but that just goes back to say, openly communicate. If someone's making you feel a certain way, you have to tell them. If you're not communicating, there's going to be a lot that's unsaid. And I think it's Brené Brown. She has this great analogy that I use all the time. Is it an analogy? I'm not sure if that's the right word for that. What she says is when she is feeling a certain way, like say her husband says something to her or whatever, that she might hear it in the wrong way. She will go back to him and say, okay, the story I'm telling myself is, let's for instance say, your husband says, did you want to wear that dress tonight? And then you say, or you're thinking, oh my gosh, what, does he not want me to wear that dress? Do I look fat in that dress or something? Blah, blah, blah. So then you say, instead of holding up and not communicating like I would do and think this story I'm building in my head that he thinks I look horrible, yada, 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 I go back and I say, hey, this is the story I'm telling myself. This is what I heard. And usually, again, it's me fucking up. And it's like, no, dude, I was asking if you wanted to wear that dress because I was going to dress up too, or if we can dress down and wear jeans. That's usually how it goes. Communication, the story you're telling yourself. Be open and honest with your partner about the story you're telling yourself. And I just spent too long on communication, and I've got a lot to go through. So here we go. Moving on. Equality. Mutual respect and equality form the basis of a healthy relationship. Both partners have equal decision-making power, share responsibilities, and value each other's opinions, needs, and boundaries. Absolutely. We all know that abusive relationships are a power imbalance. In a healthy relationship, there is no power imbalance. You are equal to your partner. You are involved in those decisions. You are involved in the responsibilities. You share it equally. There is no hierarchy here. I would say that right there is going to be one of your biggest key indicators on a healthy relationship: equality. Moving on to trust and honesty. Trust is essential in a healthy relationship. Partners are honest, reliable, and trustworthy. They feel safe sharing their thoughts, feelings, and vulnerabilities without fear of judgment or betrayal. Hail to the yeah. Me and the D have some very private, deep conversations that will never go outside of our bedroom. Another sign of a healthy relationship. And we laugh about this stuff all the time. We were going into Target yesterday and talking about something. I can't even remember, but we were like, yeah, and don't you ever tell anybody this? And he's like, yeah, and don't you ever tell anybody that? And just laughing about some of the very private stuff we talk about inside our safe spaces. Yeah, moving on. I'm not going to get into that one. Emotional support. Healthy relationships prioritize emotional support. Partners provide comfort, validation, and encouragement to each other, fostering emotional well-being and a sense of security. Again, yeah, I've never felt as safe as I feel with my new husband. And that was a big thing for me when I first started falling in love. Not when we first started dating, but when I first started to get comfortable with him, I just feel secure. I feel safe. I'm not worried about him having affairs. Ex-toxic husband, I was always feeling like he was cheating on me because hint, he was. But I don't spend energy on not feeling secure anymore. Like, I used to spend so much energy on worrying like what my ex was up to. I don't spend any of that energy anymore on new husband. Like, I don't need to. I feel secure. I trust him. He's there emotionally for me. We are both there emotionally for each other. It goes back to equality. So that is another sign. And I'm reading from a list if you didn't already figure it out, and just expanding. And I could talk forever on this. And I'm not going to go through each one of these in a podcast like I was as my husband abusive or an asshole, just because that would take forever. But I am starting to see some areas I would like to expand on its own podcast. But again, if you have suggestions, please give them to me. Consent and boundaries. Consent and respecting boundaries are fundamental. Both partners have the right to set boundaries, and their consent is sought and respected in all aspects of the relationship, including physical intimacy. Yes, that's a big one. I know I did not talk about sexual abuse in the, actually it's not in the power and control wheel. It's in a couple of those graphs from the Doolittle model, but it's not in the exact power and control wheel. If that's something, you want me to expand on, just let me know. I can totally do that. It's pretty obvious though. So I kind of skipped over that. Shared decision-making. Decisions are made jointly, considering the perspectives and needs of both partners. Each partner has an equal say in matters that affect the relationship, such as finances, household responsibilities, and major life choices. Yes, again, goes back to equality. If your partner is making all the decisions without even consulting you, nah, that ain't a healthy relationship. You got to talk about that shit. There's two people in that relationship. So equal shared decision-making. Independence and autonomy. Healthy relationships value individuality and personal growth. Partners support each other's goals, hobbies, and interests, allowing space for individual growth and maintaining a healthy balance between togetherness and independence. So I work from home and my husband works from home. We are together all the time. And I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, how do you stand that? We actually don't have any issues with it at all. We really don't. He's upstairs. I'm downstairs. We touch base a couple times throughout the day, like, hey, how you doing? I go up there and annoy the shit out of him when I have a slow day, which is hardly ever. But we also have our little independent times. So Sundays, like today, he goes and visits his grandfather And I am here recording my podcast and my social media content. And this is my me time because I'm always working. But we do have those times of independence, and we know how we're not offended, if one of us says like, they need some time, some solitude, because we're both very, I wouldn't say introverted. Yeah, we're introverted, but yeah, we get our energy through that solitude. And so we are not like, oh my gosh, you mean you don't want to be with me for this hour? We know, because we're mature adults, how people need their own time. So if developing your own hobbies, having your own space, having your own time outside of your partner, because again, you do not want to identify with your partner. Once you're in those toxic relationships, you start to identify as your partner's wife instead of as yourself. So being able to separate and having your own things and supporting your partner, supporting your own hobbies and your own goals outside of him, that is a healthy relationship. So if you don't have that, that's a red flag. You need to develop that. You need to have a life outside of your husband's. Conflict resolution. Conflict is addressed in a constructive and respectful manner. Both partners actively work towards resolving conflicts through compromise, empathy, and open dialogue. Again, communicating rather than resorting to manipulation, intimidation, or violence. That's pretty no-brainer. Like, yeah, if your husband's being an abusive asshole, which we already went through the whole series, it's opposite of that when you have a conflict. Moving on, and I keep having to pause to finish my coffee. It is getting cold, but I jumped right into it today. So safety and well-being. A healthy relationship prioritizes physical and emotional safety. Partners create an environment free from abuse, violence, or threats. They support each other's well-being and take steps to promote physical and mental health. If there's any kind of violence or threats in your relationship, it's toxic. You just need to get your plan together and get out of that shit. And then jumping down to more, mutual support is on the list again. We kind of already talked about that, but anytime I say to the D, oh, I have this idea, I want to do this, I want to do that. He's not like my ex. My ex used to be like, that's stupid. That's going to cost money. It's going to cost time. Never interested. The D, he's like, tell me about it. All right, what do you want to do? And it's just like, he listens and he cares and he's supportive, and vice versa, the same. If he has an idea, like he's working on some project right now, and I've been like all about it, encouraging him, supporting him, helping him with it, when I can, really enjoying like the time that we spend together on it. And just, it's the same. It's flip flop, he supports me, I support him. And especially in personal growth, like, I began this podcast saying how I've gotten 5 promotions in a year and a half. I got that because hell yes, I worked my ass off. But you know what? I also had support from him. When I was having meetings back to back, which I still do, during the school year, he was helping me with car line, picking up or dropping off my daughter. I couldn't have attended these meetings that I had to attend to get these promotions without him. And he knew it was a big deal for my personal growth and my career to be able to attend these meetings. I had to do it. I needed it. And he supported me. No questions asked. Even offers like, hey, you want me to do this? If he knows, like, I'm tired running around, he will support me and just go ahead and take stuff off my plate all the time. So definitely look for that in a partner. It is freaking life-changing. When I was married to my ex, he used to drive right past my daughter's school on his way to work. Now, my daughter's school at the time was 40 minutes away. So it was a 40-minute commute for me, 40 minutes there and then 40 minutes back. This was before I was working from home. I was still doing, like the writing things and stuff like that, but taking care of the home. And my ex wouldn't even take her to school for me. He drove right by there. So instead, I had to get up at the crack of dawn, get everything ready, and go drive there and back, wasting time and gas when he could have done that. And here I have a new husband who is working, but will take time off to go take my daughter to school. And that is, it kind of backs his day up, but he's willing to take that on to help me. There is a difference in your toxic and healthy relationship. Moving on to shared values. Partners in a healthy relationship have aligned values and beliefs. They share common goals, interests, and priorities, which contribute to a sense of shared purpose and compatibility. All right, I got a bit of a funny story here. My husband is a good old country boy. And now you know me being like raging feminist, progressive, whatever you want to call me. I've been called worse. Exact opposite of the stereotype of a good old country boy. So when we first started dating, yeah, I know, like how did I end up, right, with exact opposite of what I would usually go for? It was because he was super hot on Tinder. And I was like, yeah. And I swiped, and then he swiped, and we got to talking. And this is where I put my foot in my mouth and I do the thing that I'm not supposed to do, which is like, judge someone based on stereotypes. And he is not at all a super right wing extremist like some of those more Southern men can be stereotyped into. We actually share a lot of the same progressive values, and we're able to talk about politics and religion on a level where even if we don't quite agree on like every single aspect of that, we can still have healthy discussions that don't escalate. Now, there has been like, I think 2 or 3 discussions we had that was getting a little bit like, all right, I'm not going to move over to his side and he's not going to move over to my side on this. So we agreed to drop it. We didn't have like some crazy blowout. Now with my ex, I wasn't even allowed to speak my opinion on stuff. And if I did, I mean, God forbid I did. Raging freaking tantrum, holes in walls, things broken. If I ever spoke my mind and my beliefs, because I wasn't allowed to have that. Now I have it, so I don't shut up. Obviously, I got a podcast. I've written 20 books. Like, yeah, I'm not going to shut up anytime soon. And my new husband realizes that, and he loves it about me, by the way, because we share some values. And if we don't talk about it. Or we at least talk about it in a healthy way and then put that shit to rest. So definitely find someone you share values with. It will make your life a lot easier, but no one's going to have everything in common, and that's okay. As long as you know how to respectfully respect your significant other's values and they respect yours, totally okay. Moving on, my throat's getting sore, y'all. I've talked all week at work and I'm talking all week today to catch up on these podcasts. So let's go through these real quick. Only got a couple more. Friendship and intimacy. Healthy relationships are built on a foundation of friendship and emotional intimacy. Partners genuinely enjoy each other's company, have fun together, and share a deep emotional connection. Yeah, like I couldn't stand being around X. If you find yourself, oh my gosh, and I'm going to appeal to so many women right now when I say this. And I say that because almost every woman I have in my life cannot stand to be around their husband. And if you're listening to this and you feel called out, maybe you're one of them, because I hear it all the time. Like, for instance, I have someone very close to me who's like, I couldn't stand it if my husband worked from home all the time. I can't wait till he leaves on his work trips. I just don't want to be around him. I don't want to be in the same room. And I want to be like, why the fuck are you married then? But I don't, because it's not going to make a difference, because it's, one of those things where it's like, you tell somebody 1,000,000 times, hey, it's so much better on the other side. You have to take control of your relationship. You're not stuck. And they don't listen. So it's up to you to do what you want with the keys I am giving you. But if you're in a relationship where you don't genuinely enjoy your partner's company, you don't have fun together, you don't have a deep emotional connection, then what the fuck are you doing? Why are you even in a relationship? That's stupid. That's wasting your time. Like, I've been there, done that. I didn't want to be around my ex either, and he sure didn't want to be around me. Did we have fun together? Off and on, maybe, occasionally, not really. Everything usually turned into a fight. We did not share a deep emotional connection. No way, no how. Now, me and new husband, we're that, cringy, stereotypical each other's best friends. Like, we truly are. We do everything together. And, we're home all day together, and we don't get tired of each other. We, again, go back to having your own little time of solitude and your own hobbies and interests. But yeah, like I was, we went out to eat some Mexican food yesterday, and then we got in the hot tub after. We do this like at least once a week, and we're sitting there and just talking and having conversations, and not on our phones. We're hardly on our phones. Occasionally we're like, hey, you want to like just go lay in bed and get on our phones? We'll do that. But usually we have a lot to talk about. Even though we're together all the time, we still have so much to talk about. And that is worth finding. Ladies, it is amazing. Go get that ish. All right, moving on. Just skimming the rest of this here. This one talks about healthy conflict resolution, which we already talked about, open, respectful communication, actively listening to each other. So they're not having their head on their phone when you're trying to talk to them. They're looking at you, listening to you. Emotional safety, feeling like your partner will listen to you and respond with empathy and kindness. Not being terrified you're walking on eggshells and saying, oh my gosh, I need to tell my husband this, but I'm afraid of his reaction. In a healthy relationship, you're never afraid of their reaction. Okay. You can go to your partner and talk to them about whatever it is. If you have some deep, something scary vulnerability you want to bring to the table, and you want to tell them and you want to talk to them about it, they're not going to run away screaming. I don't think, at least. Don't hold me to that. I don't know what kind of dark wishes you have up in there, but I'm saying normally in a healthy relationship, they're going to hear you out and listen to you without judgment. You can speak with them without fear. You can tell them whatever without being nervous how they're going to react, because you have that security and you have that open communication. Then flexibility and compromise. Each partner is open to considering different perspectives and making adjustments to create harmony and balance. Yeah, you have to be flexible because shit happens, life happens. And if your partner's not willing to pivot when shit goes to shit, you both pivot together. If they're unwilling to do that, then you got a problem on your hands. Let's be real here. If you have to pivot all on your own and take everything all on your own, you're not having the equality thing. So all these play into each other. Like, you have to have, it's give and take, it's 50-50. There has to be compromise. There's not like, it's all my way, which if you're in an abusive relationship, those men are like, it's my way or the highway. Nah, it ain't like that. Healthy relationships, you make those shared decisions. You make compromise. You're flexible. You're spending quality time together. You have respectful disagreements. Again, like I said, me and the D, we have some disagreements, but we're pretty freaking respectful about it. And we just drop it and move on with our lives, because who has time fighting? I spent 15 years of my life fighting with my ex. I don't want to do it anymore. That's such a waste of time. You can put that energy into amazing things. Amazing things. Go create your own life. Create something beautiful. And then turn around and help the other women who are in your situation. And then last but not least, mutual trust. Trust is a crucial component of a healthy relationship. Partners trust each other's words and actions, have faith in their commitment, and feel secure in the knowledge that they can rely on each other. And that's also going back to what was the one I talked about at the first? I can't even remember. I'm having a brain fart, y'all. Oh, security. Security. Oh my gosh. Again, with the energy saving, when you trust your partner and you feel secure, you're not spending energy on the what ifs. And that is life changing because you can spend energy on you. Fix yourself. Do some shadow work. Go, I don't know, get into a hobby that you've always wanted to try. Because guess what? You're going to have the energy to do it when you're not worried about, oh my gosh, what's he going to think? Or, oh my gosh, what's he doing? Like, be like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with my free time tomorrow? I can do anything. The world is mine. I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to go change my style up. I'm going to go learn how to, I don't know, play the kazoo. You have so much energy when you trust your partner because you're not giving two shits about what they're up to in a nefarious way, because they're not going to be up to anything in a nefarious way. Because your partner loves you and you love your partner. And when you have that, it's amazing. Again, it is worth finding. It's worth fighting for. And if you are in a toxic relationship, it's absolutely going to be a fight to get out. Mostly, yes, a fight with your partner because they're not going to want you to leave their grips of control, but also a fight with yourself just to change your mindset to know that you're truly not stuck, which is what this podcast is about. So I'm going to close out because I've been talking forever on this, but I hope now, if you are ever asking yourself, is my partner abusive or an asshole? I have answered that question and I'm going to go back and say it. Does it really matter? You don't want to be with either one. Please don't be with an abusive asshole or just a plain asshole. Look for a healthy relationship because when you find it, you can do amazing things. And it's going to be like you are finally opening your eyes. The world is your oyster and you are going to live this amazing life. I promise you that you're not stuck. Thank you so much for listening. If you love the show, please leave a rating, a review. And if you know anyone who also might love the show or who could benefit from this information, please be sure to share it and subscribe. The more we get this out to people, the more people we can help. And I truly believe there's so many women who need to hear these words because so many women are feeling stuck. Also, if you're looking for me, you can usually find me on the gram at author Kat Adams, and be sure to head over to my website, and that's Kat Adams, Adams with a double D's.com. Subscribe to my newsletter for the latest information. Also, when you subscribe, you're going to get a free novella. And just be forewarned, my raunchy rom-com is as dirty as my mouth. So if that's your thing, go for it. It's super hilarious. But thank you again for tuning in. Until next time, please stay safe and I'll see you on the other side.